Some poems are wild forests, others are perfectly manicured gardens. The difference is their form, the hidden structure, the rules for rhythm, rhyme, and length. Think of it as the skeleton of the poem. And far from being a cage, these rules can actually force a poet to be even more creative within those boundaries. Let's start in Japan, with poetry that often captures a single moment in nature. The haiku is a masterpiece of precision, just 3 lines with a strict 5-7-5 syllable pattern. No rhyme, just a perfect, focused snapshot of an image. If you add 2 more lines of 7 syllables each, you get a tanka. It's like an extended haiku that adds a personal, emotional reflection to that natural scene. Now, let's jump to the English sonnet. This is a 14-line powerhouse, usually tackling big themes like love, time, or nature. Its secret weapon is a steady, rhythmic beat called iambic pentameter. It sounds just like a heartbeat, da-dum, 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 5 times per line. This rhythm gives deep, complex arguments a powerful driving pulse. But what if you want to break all the rules? That's free verse. It doesn't follow a set rhyme scheme or rhythm. It sounds more like natural, everyday speech. But don't be fooled, it isn't lazy. The poet still uses line breaks very carefully to emphasize certain words, create a specific pace, and deliver raw, unfiltered emotion. So, how does a poet choose? It's all about matching the form to the feeling. You wouldn't use a tiny haiku for a sprawling epic. A funny story about a kangaroo begs for a bouncy limerick. A deep, complicated love might need the steady heartbeat of a sonnet. The form isn't just a container, it's the architecture that gives an idea its unique and final shape.